Hey guys, so I'm finally here to talk about what I've been watching over February. It seems like it's been a really long month and I wanted to talk about all the stuff that I've been watching so badly. But I'm finally at the point where I can do that, and that's great. And I am dubbing this month Pajama Month because I'm wearing my pajamas. It's Panda Face, I don't know if you can tell. I am the coolest person ever. I have my notes here, so let's do this. Let's talk OVAs first, because I only actually watched one this month. That would be the Sankarea OVA, which was episode 0 and episode 13, I think. I liked episode 0 quite a lot. I thought that was a really good way to sort of tell people how things came to be, and that was a really good thing. Episode 13, however, was not very good. It was a very make-believe fantasy-esque thing. I think any fans of Sankarea will probably enjoy it a lot more than I did. Sankarea was an okay series. It wasn't my favourite. Yeah, the OVA is out there now. You should watch it if you are a fan of Sankarea, I guess. We'll talk about the airing stuff that I caught up on first, because a big portion of the last few days of the month was spent catching up on things. First thing is I watched up to episode 8 of Tamako Market. I'm enjoying the show a lot. It is very, very, very much like K-On! And K-On! Is something that I miss, I think. Oh, I forgot the fairy lights. Oh. I just saw the viewfinder and it made me sad. Ah, that's better. Tamako Market. Yeah, there we are. I really like this one a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it, even though there's only like 4 episodes of it left, and that makes me really sad. Let's move on to another thing that I actually caught up on this month, and that would be Chihai Furu, because I got behind on that while I was away. I was away for a time, by the way. I got behind on Chihai Furu. Now I am caught up with it, and I love it, and I think it's fantastic. It's just the same as season 1. If you want to know my thoughts on season 1, I did a review, so you should watch that instead of me talking about it again. So another thing that I watched, and watched about 16 episodes of, was Bakuman 3, and it's only just occurred to me since I caught up on it that this is the last series of Bakuman. That came out of nowhere. I honestly thought that there would be another season after this. They cut a bunch of stuff out of the anime that was in the manga, and I genuinely thought there would be another season after this. But they have like 4 episodes to put a lot of stuff into, and I'm a bit worried about that. What I'll probably do when Bakuman ends is I'll probably just make a video recapping my thoughts on seasons 1, 2, and 3. I really like the Bakuman anime, but I just think the manga is so much better, is my basic thoughts. But I do want to do a video on Bakuman, so I'm going to push myself into doing a video on Bakuman, because I have to do it. Anyway, let's move on to the stuff that I completed, and we'll go in an order of me doing the things that I liked the most being the last things that I talk about. So what we'll talk about first, I think, is probably Kami-sama Kiss, or Kami-sama Hajimemashite. I finished that this month, and that was something that I picked up in fall. I watched a lot of really good stuff this month, I should say, so me saying this was the worst thing isn't really saying don't watch it. What it reminded me a lot of was Fruits Basket, and for those of you who haven't seen Fruits Basket, you should probably go and watch Kami-sama Hajimemashite to see if you like that, and then you should go and watch Fruits Basket because it is a bit longer. Kami-sama Hajimemashite basically has a lot of things in common with Fruits Basket, and I don't know which manga came first. I don't know if they came out around the same time. Both of the characters from both Fruits Basket and Kami-sama Hajimemashite have got major parental issues in some way or another. So what happens to both of these characters is they go to live in a house with these men that have strange circumstances, we'll say. Then the rest just sort of goes off on its own, but it is very similar in that aspect, that Nanami is like Toru, where she goes to live in a house with, what's his name? Tomoe? Gonna say that's his name. She goes to live in a house with him, and he's a demon, which is a bit different to when Toru went to go and live with Yuki, and the rest is history. It's really, really similar to Fruits Basket. It's very shoujo, it's very romancy feel. This one does have more of an ending, I guess, than Fruits Basket did. If you like Fruits Basket, go and give it a watch, see what you think. If you don't like Fruits Basket, or you haven't watched it, probably either watch it or just leave it alone. Let's move on to the next thing on my list, which I'm gonna say is Nekomonogatari Kuro, which is something that, again, I finished this month. I started watching in January, and I just finished it this month. And I have to say, I think I'm going slightly off the Bakemonogatari track. The further I get away from actually watching Bakemonogatari, the less I like it. I didn't like, for those of you who are around for that review, I didn't like Nisemonogatari at all. I thought it was a really, really awkward series and made me feel all kinds of uncomfortable. Nekomonogatari definitely went back more towards what Bakemonogatari was, and I kind of liked it. I'm starting to realise now that I don't like Araragi-kun at all as a character. I just don't like him, and that's a shame, because when I was indifferent about him, it was a lot more enjoyable. That being said, the second season of the Monogatari series is going to be coming out, I think, this year sometime. I'm still going to watch that. If Kizumonogatari ever comes out, I'm still going to watch that. I've been with this series for kind of a long time. I watched it in my first year at university, and I kind of want to stick with it. I'm really determined to stick with it, so talking of things that I didn't like as much as everyone else did, let's talk about SteinsGate. Okay, so SteinsGate was something that I picked up when it first started airing, which was in 2011, I think. And the reason I picked it up was because I was actually kind of a big fan of Chaos Head, which was kind of the prequel series, but I don't see how they connect in any way. I know they're supposed to be like alternate realities and same universe kind of thing, but I still don't get it. That's the reason that I picked up SteinsGate. I don't know how to say this because I think it feels like a bit like a breakup. Like, it's not you, it's me. It's just, it's not the right time for me. I didn't like SteinsGate as much as everyone else did. I did enjoy it, but a lot of it felt like really drawn out, and I really liked the last arc that there was, but it did sort of turn into a bit of a horror. I liked it, but I don't think I connected with the show the same way that everyone else seemed to. Time travel, for a start, is seriously not one of the things that I'm interested in, and this show is based around time travel. There were some good plot twists in it, and I did really start to enjoy it towards the end. I'm gonna watch the movie, I'm gonna watch the OVA, it's gonna be great. Whether or not I'm gonna watch Robotics Notes or not, I have not heard a thing about that show. So if you are watching Robotics Notes and it's actually good, let me know down below. I feel like I should have liked it a lot more than I did, but I apparently didn't, I guess. Next one I want to talk about is Tonari no Kaibutsukun. I've briefly mentioned this show before when I've been talking with Kieran, and I like it a lot. I liked the show when I'd only watched 7 episodes of it. I still like it now that I've finished it. The reason that I like this show is because it's a really, really different kind of shoujo. The reason I say that is because of Haru. Haru is the main male lead in this show. I don't remember the girl's name. Oh, piss. Shizuka. That sounds about right, but I'm still not sure. Shizuku. Yeah, I was close. Shizuku. Okay. Wow. Calm the hell down. What I was saying is, Shizuku is very similar to a lot of shoujo protagonists. She's a very flawed character. And what usually happens in shoujo is that there's this really, really flawed character who is introduced to the male, who is usually the most perfect person in the world. There's nothing wrong with them, they're really nice, they're really friendly, they're just good looking as well, they're like everything, they're an all-rounder in this person that likes them too. And this show just like flipped that around. Haru was one of the least perfect characters in the world. He was no knight in shining armor, he was no Prince Charming, he was just himself, and that was perfect. That's why I liked him so much as a protagonist in these shows, because he was just so interesting to watch, and I just absolutely loved him because you never knew what he was going to do next. I think that's a really important thing to put into shoujo shows more often, because men aren't perfect, let's face it, and I think selling shows to young girls saying that you will find a perfect guy is really not realistic. You gotta remember that young girls can be kind of impressionable sometimes. Their standards are gonna be impossible. But this is why I liked this show, because it was very real. I liked Haru a lot for that. I didn't like Shizuku that much, because I thought she was a bit of a bitch to him, but I think he's been one of the most likeable characters in a while, and I think that's why this show is just so enjoyable, and I definitely recommend you go and watch it. What I will say as well is that The opening is fantastic. The animation, the song, the everything is just fantastic about the opening, so go and watch that. And another thing that Brainspace did really right was the backgrounds. I never talk about the backgrounds, but the backgrounds were just so good. They just felt like they had a lot of texture to them, and they weren't flat backgrounds. They were really, really detailed and textured, and that's what I liked about this show. So let's move on to the last thing that I have to talk about, and some of you might know what I'm talking about if you follow me on Twitter. We're going to talk about the show Sakamichi no Apollon, or Kids on the Slope. So for those of you who don't know what this show is about, it basically takes place in the 1960s and follows the lives of two high school boys and their love for jazz. I started watching this show when it started airing, just fell out of watching it immediately, and then picked it up again, and it was so enjoyable. A lot of it wasn't about the music, it wasn't about the name dropping, and it wasn't about everything like that. It was about the characters, and it was just a really good show. I don't know how I can explain it any better than that. It kind of reminded me of Beck, but a lot more artistic, less English, a lot more drama going off. And apparently the director is the same guy who directed Cowboy Bebop as well, which is a show that I still haven't seen, so maybe I'll make that a goal for this year, because I loved Sakamichi no Apollon so much. I went into it thinking, this'll kill some time, and I just couldn't stop watching it. I pretty much sat and watched the whole thing. My personal highlight was episode 7, which is the school festival scene, and I'm hoping some people know what I'm talking about, but it was just the most magical moment of anime that I've watched yet this year. It was just so fantastic, and I really wish that someone had pushed me into watching this show, saying, no, you've got to watch it, it's so good, you've got to watch it, and it's so good, it's so good. I don't know how to explain it any better than it's just really good. Go watch it if you want to watch a show that's good. I think this would be one of those rare things as well that I would recommend to people who I know that aren't particularly into anime. I think it would be one of those things that my dad might enjoy watching, so I might watch it with him at some point. We'll see how that goes. That is all that I watched this month. The thing that I really, really, really want to do in March is I want to catch up on Space Brothers so badly. I'm about 12 episodes behind on Space Brothers or something, and that is a show that I just love. I love that show, and I need to know what happens. The thing that's put me off watching it a little bit is because I heard that there was a live-action film of Space Brothers, so I went to watch the trailer, and you should not watch the trailer if you want to watch the anime, because there are spoils in it. There are major spoils in it, and I just wanted to talk about that really briefly. I think that's all for now, so thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys soon.